I know. I love that sweet little flute music. Hello there, and welcome to this time together, to this moment together, to this space together, to this planet together, to this something together, to this no thing together. I'm hearing my echo. Let me mute. Okay. Echo, 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 echo. I really appreciate you being here. You coming. Maybe some of you something totally new. Have you ever been to a satsang before? Ever heard of what a satsang is? Or it's so fun. I love that. What did I name it this time? A vast expanse of love. A vast expanse of love. Yay. So I think, oh, a sad song. That was so funny. I'm driving and I'm asking Siri to send a text. And that's what Siri wrote. Instead of sad song, sad song. I was like, okay, they know what I'm talking about. And why not? This could be a great moment for a sad song. Now Siri's like, to who? You play too much, Siri. Yay, so I'll share a little bit about what a sat song is. Yay, welcome, loves. So, satsang, hi there. Welcome. Come on in. There's a seat here. There's a seat there. There's uh, we can, yeah. I also have some backjacks. Hello there. Welcome. Yeah, they are in the closet. If anybody, would you like a backjack? Okay. Hi. What's your name? Trish. I'm Ash. I love that we both have the shh factor. It's so fun. So fun. Good to see you again. Yay. So this is perfect. I was just gonna talk a little bit about what a satsang is. For those that maybe have never been to a satsang. Have you ever been to a satsang? So fun. So fun. Yay. So satsang is a Sanskrit word, and sat means truth, and sang is derived from the word sangha, which means a community of like-hearted beings, like-minded beings. So it's a coming together to emphasize what we usually don't emphasize, to notice what we usually don't notice, to relax as in First, it can be like relaxing in, but then we discover that we're relaxing as what we usually don't put our attention on. So, what we usually put our attention on are all of the stories that we have in our minds, the innocence of our identity, the innocence of our definitions, the innocence of our descriptions. Descriptions, there's nothing wrong with them. The only thing that has a problem with descriptions is descriptions. Just as the only thing that has a problem with the ego is the ego. The only thing that has a problem with the mind is the mind. What we discover when we, in this invitation, allow all of our points of view, all of our descriptions to just be as they are, we may notice that there is a whole other quality of being here. When we are totally wrapped up in our thoughts and our stories, we're constantly trying to fix and change and strategize and manipulate and alter, and which again, innocent. And when it comes to peace or freedom, we can never find it. We can never find lasting peace or freedom in trying to rearrange the mirage, trying to rearrange the hologram, trying to rearrange the matrix. And the matrix is indeed anything that can be described. So, for example, if we think that the regular 3D world is the matrix, and now we're in 5D, so we're out of the matrix, no, beloved, your ass is still in the matrix. Innocently, because we don't notice that which has never been spoken, that which has never been told, that which has never been conceived, that which has never been born, that which has never known concepts of other, of death, of time, of place, that which is absolutely undressed, radiantly, effervescently, shimmeringly naked, just as it is. No cloth or piece of clothing uh, big enough has ever been able to cover this vast expanse of love, this vast expanse of who it is we are. It's so wonderful. If I were to ask you, who are you? We can get into all kinds of wonderful conversations, and that's so great. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did you come from? What are your parents like? Are they still on the planet? What have been your adventures? What have been your ingredients? So many things we can discover about each other, and that's wonderful. And in the space of satsang, the invitation is to kind of allow that way of interacting to take a back seat or to relax and to maybe be here as an unknowable presence. Maybe be here without the reference point, without the emphasis of the reference point of all of our accomplishments and all of our scars and all of our traumas and all of our uh, realizations, even, or discoveries, but is there something here that's still absolutely free, that has never been written, never been sung? And how sweet that we get to be here in a really relaxed, practical way and maybe discover an embodied namaste, an embodied the light in me recognizes and greets the light in you. The light as me recognizes and greets the light as you. In this kind of seeing, there's no higher or lower or more solid or less solid or more awake or no awake or more aware or more skilled or less skilled or more of a teacher or more of a student or more of a student or more of a... all of those wondrous descriptions get to relax. And even if they are present, they are secondary to primary. Ah, this loving intelligence, this awareness here as itself, meeting itself, knowing itself, recognizing itself, closer than a skin line or this side or that side. So it's so wondrous that everything about this matrix encourages us to continue emphasizing our descriptions, encourages us to continue overlooking the wholeness that we already are. So even the billion upon billion dollar self-help industry doesn't like this invitation, doesn't like this message. Because of course you gotta constantly heal and fix and get that trauma and oh no, you've gotten your traumas in this lifetime, but you have 7 lifetimes where this happened and that happened that you gotta go fix, and let me take your ass to the Kajak records so that we could do this and do that, which is so much fun. What an adventure. And in that journey, that process, what remains overlooked is the wholeness we are now, the okayness we are now. The that absolutely includes the beauty of human, the wonder of human, and the absurdity of human, and the flaws of human, and the brokenness of human, the ridiculousness of human. What I also love about this invitation and this option, it's kind of like we got some options here, beloveds. We got some options. And the option that I love inviting people to explore is this option of allowing everything to be as it is right now. The ego cannot allow, it doesn't know what allowing is. But once we are willing to explore our capacity to allow, we are getting a simultaneous education in our nature as loving awareness, as consciousness, while also an education in the self releasing nature of mind. Imagine all the energy we put into trying to fix our thoughts, trying to fix our beliefs, trying to fix our chakras, trying to fix our levels of the field, trying to fix our lifetimes, trying to fix our timelines, and then boy do we try to fix everybody else's chakras and everybody else's timelines and everybody else's traumas and everybody else's. It's so wondrous. It's like a full-time job that the ego does not want to get laid off from. It's like, I need to keep this job as long as I can. I'm going to be found out. And this is satsang, is to notice that innocence of that. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's not the new devil. It's not to do low frequencies, good vibes, bad vibes only. It's just, oh yeah, just as a plant does plant things, carpets do carpet things, um, mountains do mountain things, the mind does mind things. The mind forever attempts to categorize, separate, compare, measure, indulge, avoid, replace. That's just what mind does. And when we allow mind to be itself, that's when all of the locura del snow globe gets to settle. Yay. So want to try allowing right now? First of all, you're already a master at allowing. I mean, for a moment, where has everything ever appeared in? Your whole life. every person you've ever met, everything you've ever experienced, all the ups, all the downs, all the lucid dreaming, all the out of body experiences. Let's say you've had a near death experience or a full death experience, or let's say this has happened, that happened. You've gone to Kalamazoo, you've gone to Grand Junction, you've gone to Walmart, and where, where has everything appeared in? All the dreams. For a moment, notice if I were to ask you, have all things appeared in your awareness? How does that sound? Have they appeared in your awareness? This moment, this room, where is this room appearing in? And if you're not experiencing a room, because who knows what you're experiencing? Celebrate all the experiences. But this expression of atoms, however, this particular sacred geometric emanation of atomic suns, however that's appearing, notice it's appearing in your awareness. Notice the thought of you being something that's aware is appearing in awareness. Or the thought of you appearing as unaware is also appearing as awareness. Appearing in as through this aware intelligence. This is what we get familiar with when we, as my friend Z.G. Rinpoche likes to say, and I'll try to say it in her amazing voice, short moments of awareness, repeated many times, reveals itself to be continuous. Short moments of awareness, repeated many times, reveals itself to be continuous. We first start with like little bite-sized niblets of a short moment. And in that short moment, we go from closed fist consciousness to open palm consciousness. Closed fist is another way of saying closed mind, innocent. That's the I know mind. I know who I am. I know where I am. I know what needs to happen. I know what should happen. I know what you're doing. I know what they're doing. I know what this needs to. I know. Wondrous, and it's just closed. We don't allow things in. We're just in the trance of knowing what's best for myself, for others, for the world, for it's the ego's innocent attempt to control and to make a difference, to make a dent. so so innocent. And of course we recognize the horrors in that throughout history. Different expressions of humans with unquestioned assumptions of what's best, and then there's a genocide. And then there's a crusades. And then we're going to burn all the women up because they know how to roll a joint. Hello there, love. Oh, what a joy to see you. I thought you'd be in Mexico.
No, in a week.
In a
Actually, next
week.
Monday.
And congratulations on becoming a death doula.
Oh, I
I,
love that. I love
right.
the training.
I loved the training. What a gift. That's another kind of satsang.
Yes.
That's another kind of satsang.
Thank
Ah,
you.
mm, yay. We've just been talking about you the whole time.
It's
Just been
just
talking. Just
fun,
been
funny. I love
ta-
it for it.
There's only one of us here. Oh. Yay. closed system of intelligence, innocence, and then open. To open is to allow. That's one of the ways we open our minds. So, what does that look like? Instead of in the moment indulging in our stories, which is the itch, ego loves that good itch. You know, when there's like a spot in the body, it's like, oh, yeah, so good. Ego loves to be like, oh, indulging in itself and its stories. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Next time I'm going to say this. And next time they make that face, I'm going to let them know. And then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. And then I've got to make that phone call. I mean, wondrous. But when we're in that itch space, it's stress, stressful thoughts, stressful thoughts. And then the way to bring a healing balm, a calming balm to that is to allow it to be itself. Not try to stop it, not try to fix it, not try to medicate it. That's where we get into the avoidance space. Indulging. And then when we don't want the indulging to happen, we're like, oh my God, I want to shut this mind off. Oh my gosh, I can't fucking sleep. And it keeps going, going, going. And it's 3 in the morning. And then we're like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna watch some Netflix. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go have a Twinkie. I'm gonna go call somebody. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do some meditation. I'm gonna go do some ketamine with my doctor, and I'm gonna go do, do all the things. Which all of that is okay. Again, none of that's bad. But when we are in the conversation and there's some curiosity about, is liberation real? Is freedom real? Is unwavering peace just a pretty ass little bumper sticker on a Prius? Or is it real? Is there truly an unwavering peace? And in the option of allowing is how we get familiar with our nature as this unwavering peace. We get familiar with who we are as a sky of love that has never had a problem with any of the weathering appearances. A sky that has never looked for shelter in the presence of a rainstorm or an umbrella, but just open, open, allowing everything to have a full life and an honorable undoing. It also allows us to be in the space of having our lives. This is the benefit aspect of this option of allowing and knowing yourself as unwavering peace allows us to be informed by the wisdom we are. This is where we're not trying to solve a problem with the same consciousness, the innocent consciousness that created the problem. But we can show up as a presence of creative solution, spontaneous, uncontrived altruism, intelligence, compassion, kindness, already alive qualities with who you are as awareness, as consciousness. Indulging, avoiding, and then in our spiritual subcultures, boy, do we love replacing. We're going to replace a negative thought with a positive thought. We're going to replace this nervous system with another nervous system. We're going to replace a carbon-based organism with a crystalline organism. We're going to replace the 3D with the 5D. We're going to replace the scooter for a Merkaba. We're going to replace we go so very wondrous and so very innocent. Nothing wrong with any of that. What an adventure. Who doesn't want to drive a Merkaba? Lord have mercy. And when we notice, oh, replacing is happening, and allow that to be, we fall into the effortless wholeness of every atom in its place, every thought in its place, every experience in its place, every planet, planetary system, galactic cluster, multiverse, dimension, density, if law of one is your jam, all of it in its place. Now, everything equally at rest in the stability of who you are as aware intelligence. Or as Ram Dass calls it, loving awareness. Loving awareness. I am loving awareness. So in this moment, search inside, notice if there's anything about your life, about the world, about your neighborhood, about your relationships, where there's an overemphasis on wanting things to change, wanting things to shift, wanting things to be different, or there's a resistance to it. If there's any part of the body, if there's resistance to a particular disease or particular ailment, particular sensation, and for from the space of the spirit of being in love with the truth, or the spirit of curiosity, the spirit of experimentation, in this moment, to allow that to soften, not have to be in a fight with anything, just in this moment, but to allow everything to be as it is. Yes, even the state of the world in this moment, just to allow the planet to be as it is. Allow the collective consciousness to be as it is. Allow our bodies to be as they are. Allow our ancestors to be as they are. Because this reverberates throughout all time. This moment has never known another second or something called a second ago. This now, allowing. Allowing the nervous system to be as it is. Allowing our tendencies to be as they are. Allowing whatever habits may appear to be as they are in this moment. Allowing our sock drawers. Allowing Jupiter and all of its hurricanes. When we allow, we discover that we have already been allowing throughout the dream of all time. Allowing is synonymous with awareness. Allowing doesn't mean doormat, passivity, not saying no, not showing up for shifts and for change and for transformation and voting and a conscious resistance. Doesn't mean that. Allowing is a way we get familiar with ourselves. And then we're fully available human beings to meet the moment. And we discover beyond the concept of trust that this moment knows how to respond to itself. This moment knows how to meet itself. This is where artists speak of not being present while the painting appears. In other words, I wasn't there. Hours passed and I didn't even notice, didn't even eat. And I love to eat. I didn't even notice. Lord, I could be in the studio layering vocals and doing harmonies, and it's like 22 hours later. It's happened to me once, and I was like, oh, shit. I was in Mount Shasta at a recording studio recording an album, and I was there. It was 22 hours that I was layering and arranging it. And then it's like, oh shit, I need to have a veggie burger. And this is not just for the artist or the creatives. We are all the artists. We are all the creatives. We are consciousness itself. This is an option for everyday life now. Everyday life now. And then how fun we get to exist as grace in the matrix. We get to exist as a glitch in the matrix. So very sweet. Anyone will have anything you'd like to share or a question regarding this option? Can you please pass the mic?
Ah,
Beep, beep,
thank, thank
bow.
you. Um, like when you make the funny stuff, and then my mind says, and I'm going to tell her that next time, all that. I don't have much of that, but my mind does mostly good things, so I'm not so much against it. But
I love that.
I'm not that often in that very quiet, which we practice
What a
together here.
gift.
Like
Hmm.
my mind, even when I dance, sometimes I always create worlds in the future,
Oh, how
and they are,
exciting.
like I think what I want to bring to my friend in Mexico and which book shall we read.
Yay.
I'm always planning, and
Right.
that takes sometimes a little bit away from the now, but it's in itself not bad.
Right.
So, what do you have to say to that?
I so love this. Well, this is what I mean by the word available. It's like when we're not overwhelmed by the stressful mind, we're available for mind to be its beautiful, loving, generous, abundant self. And it's like the creativity, that's creative, the imagery, the visionary, the possibility, the solutions, the daydreaming, the night dreaming, the infinity dreaming. It's like all of it's available, and and it's all exalting. I mean, everything exalts this moment. There's not one thing that doesn't announce the freedom that is. And when we recognize who we are and what's here, and we're not at war with that part of mind, or we've already met all of those things, um, then mind is so available. Yeah, for beauty, for poetry, for oh my God, how exciting! What books am I gonna read with my friends on the beach? But I mean, how wonderful! Yes, that's absolutely awareness in love with itself, infinity in love with itself, the poetry of existence. Yeah,
I thank you for validation because I don't feel guilty for it, but I
I'm
sometimes
so
have questions about it. The
right.
only question which is about it, it is so joyful in that activity of
Yeah.
creating the future that I by myself not that often enter what we try, what we celebrate
Uh-huh.
together here. So I would like to have even more balance or access to that, but because it's not bad what I do, I'm not so much
Right.
reminded to not do it.
Right, right, right. Well, I mean, what's wonderful about these spaces and the invitation of retreat and satsangs or kirtans or meditations or yoga nidra, uh, it kind of allows us to soften into like a non-conceptual state. And so we innocently think, oh, that's it. That's it. That's what I want. I want no mind. I want no body. I want that total, boundless, pristine ease of being. And so we innocently don't notice that if that's something that comes and goes, it's also just a point of view appearing in the stability of plain as cracker. I call it plain as cracker because we don't notice the plain as cracker. We're emphasizing the non conceptual state. We're emphasizing the joy of daydreaming, the joy of future pacing, the joy of possibility. And that's wonderful. And it can be valuable to notice what's the same during each. Like in this moment, if there is some openness, what's the same when you were walking up the stairs? What's the same when you're daydreaming? What's the same when you're envisioning? What's the same when you're scratching? What's the same when you're thinking? What's the same when you're on bufo? What's the same when you're in Iboga? What's the same when you're in Yopawaska? What's the same? Regardless of the perceptual poetry. When it comes to liberation and knowing who we are, it can be very valuable to recognize that if something appears to be new, like it's a new state, or ooh, 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 I got a new attitude, yeah. I'm feeling good from my root chakra to my crown chakra. We just notice. We just notice. What about if it appears to be new? It's a good clue that it's gonna go away. This that you are, more simple than any state, more simple than any relaxation or contraction, more simple than any extremes, any dualistic dances, tangos, more simple. Yeah, and in that, and then we get familiar with that. It's like we're so in love with, oh, now this moment is total non-conceptual, Zen-like. And oh, now this moment is planning and imagining and going online and finding out what the fun things to do at the cenotes in Tulum and what do I need to do here. And oh, now this moment is appearing as this and like this too and like this too and like this too and like this too and like this too. All of it exalting what never moves, the stillness. It's stillness dancing. It's silence singing. Inseparable. Inseparable. It's inseparable.
Thank you for that. I always need to be reminded because, there we have the big ones like
Ramana Maharshi.
Ramana Maharshi. Yes.
Yeah.
The picture of, how many years in one cave sitting.
I know.
Just endless for my.
Right.
So there is part of me who believes that would be it.
I hear that.
And so to validate, you help me validate also the other lifestyle.
I love that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
But I need to be reminded over and
Such
over
a joy.
because I go into that trap all the time that I think that would be, that would be it. Then I would be closer to enlightenment.
So innocent, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what the mind does. And it can do that forever. That never has to stop. That never has to stop. And we allow and we notice. And, there's tree as satsang, there's floor as satsang, there's ocean as satsang, there's sky as satsang, there's clothes and socks as satsang. All that's present. Couch as satsang. Anyone else have something you'd like to share? Or a question regarding this option? Like, what the hell you talk about, bitch? What you mean? What you mean? Or, yes, this is my experience, and it's so fun to hear it confirmed.
So for me, it's a feeling of being unattached.
Yes.
So a long time ago when I used to run Red Rocks, I would kind of I'm a visualist but I'm also autistic, so I see a lot. I see things in my head a lot.
I
create
love
in my head a lot.
neurodiversity.
But as I was running, I had this vision of me floating in space.
Yay.
But there was parts of me that were attached, kind of like a puppet. And I seen like in who I talk to the most is God. I mean,
I'm glad.
I mean, I don't.
Gosh, he gets
he
gets so lonely up there. So glad you talk to him the most.
But God, for me, God is everywhere. Like,
hey.
So, I feel like God showed me, a vision, that vision, and um, I didn't really understand it quite clear, but I had been kind of struggling with my ex, because of like narcissistic abuse,
Mm.
and it really messes with your worth and your psyche. And just recently, about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little over 2 weeks ago, um, I was praying, and something just, I just thought to myself, it, I felt like I was stuck in a space where I couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
Kind of like just this space where I couldn't get out of. My mind kept questioning, and it just kept going and going. And it had already been like 7 months.
Mm.
And I realized one day that I was doubting myself, questioning myself I was questioning, how did I let someone treat me like that? So my mind kept wanting to make reasons why,
Mm-hmm.
instead of I'm just instead of just realizing that I'm a beautiful person and a beautiful soul, and I love so much, and it's not none of my fault, and
Mm.
that's just it. And I don't have to figure anything else out, and I'm still that beautiful, loving person that
Mm.
wants to love and care for people, and I could still be
Mm.
that.
Hi, beautiful, loving person. I'm very happy you're here.
Yeah, so it feels, in a way,
Mm.
it feels like I'm unattached, like I'm in space, like, like I seen myself just kind of floating with not being a puppet anymore to any kind of emotional ties, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
so beautifully
Yeah.
stated. And what an experience. Oh, what a gift. I know it doesn't feel like a gift in the process, but I'm so happy that you were able to meet it and see it from that space. What grace. Yeah, what grace. Yeah, it's amazing. That's why I really love the work from Byron Katie. Are you familiar with the work from Byron Katie? Oh my God, that's so exciting. It's this really profound process of self-inquiry, really practical. It's just 4 questions and a turnaround. And so Byron Katie was this sweet woman who lived in a desert town of California. It was like a real estate mogul, but was super depressed and like at war with her whole family, and her kids never picked up their fucking socks, and she felt she didn't like her body, and she couldn't lose any weight, and she was like, what's the point of anything? It all leads to nothing. And she didn't want to do anything, and was not sleeping in her bed, and not brushing her teeth, and not brushing her hair. And then she got to a halfway house, and everyone was afraid of her in the halfway house. And she was like, what's everyone's problem? I'm the kindest person in the world. and and then one day, while she was in this halfway house, a cockroach crawled over her foot while she was sleeping on the floor because she didn't feel worthy of sleeping in the bed. And this cockroach crawled over her foot. And the moment it crawled on her foot, she opened her eyes. And in the place of all of that depression, sadness, anger, rage, fear, was just this vast open presence, this aware intelligence. That's the invitation of satsang. This openness, no identity, no allegiance to any description, any definition. And while she's resting as pure unknowability, infinite, vast expanse of love, thought hit. But because she was in that space of recognizing the difference between what's real and what's imagined, when thought hit, as awareness, She, in slow motion, witnessed the process of thought appearing like a meteor and then covering the whole world. And the thoughts, and then the questions came right at that moment. Is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? How do I react when I believe that thought? And who was I before that thought? Who would I be without the thought? So profound. Because we live on a planet. We think we live in worlds, but we live in our own story. We don't notice that we live in our superimposed grid of make believe. And so, of course, like a good hologram, it will reflect back what we believe is true. But to invite the technology, because it is a profound technology. I love that as human beings, we got cars and smartphones and 3D printers and who knows what else is coming down the pipeline. But Lord have mercy, do we still have these ancient, unquestioned assumptions of superiority, of better than, of less than, of this should happen because of that, or this should happen, or it's their fault. Oh, I'm scarred for life because of this experience, or I'm never going to be good enough because of that. All these ancient assumptions that we don't recognize, we have the option to question and to tell the truth. Are they true? Is it real or not? And what's so beautiful about questioning our thoughts, as Byron Katie says, when we question a thought, we don't let go of the thought, but the thought lets go of us. Self releases, like the nature of mind. Self releases. So wonderful. I use it all the time in my sessions, in my practice. And it's if there's anything you receive from this satsang, go explore Byron Katie's invitation. She has a book called Loving What Is. She has a book called A Thousand Names for Joy, which is one of my favorites. She has a book called The Mind at Home with Itself. And you discover it's so empowering because it brings the wisdom back to your own wellspring of being right where you are-ness. And all you're doing is telling the truth, a genuine answering of a question. Yeah. Anyone want to test it out really quick? Has anyone been experiencing a persistent, stressful thought lately, such as, we're all going to die? Or, and maybe one of you beloveds that it's your first time here. Is there something you'd like to explore? Has there been a concept that feels really heavy? And notice when you share, if you're willing to share, it's not limited to a you. We all share the same mind. There's no, just as we're one in consciousness, we're also one in the innocent absurdity of assumptions and stories. I love how Byron Katie says there's no such thing as a new stressful thought. We share all of them. And it could be, I am angry at blank because of blank, or I am disappointed in blank because of blank, or people shouldn't suffer in this world. Like, what's a concept that feels really, oh, You're so cute. I see you looking for one. You're like, "Oh, I'm just too good for this. We're on nothing stuff. We can't even find a mind."
I guess the troubling thought that I've had is
Yeah.
over like President Trump saying that he's going to
Can
go into
anyone
these
else relate?
schools and take children away from their families, and that's a
Right.
very troubling thought.
I so
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so glad it's troubling. I mean, it's good to recognize the consciousness that's there to recognize, hey, that's a little troubling. So that's like a good troubling thought. That's what I mean of like being able to show up and say no to the insanity of unquestioned mind, right? It's totally okay to say no. But for example, if there's this sense that this is happening and um, you know, so what would how would you put it in a sentence, the troubling thought?
That this could happen in her country, that this could happen today
Oh
in our
yeah.
society.
Yeah, this is
I,
happening.
I,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that
Right.
such a horrible thing could happen in this day and age and in this country.
Right.
I just think so much of my country that,
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of like there could be this thought, this shouldn't be happening.
yeah.
This shouldn't be happening. And and just noticing. So this shouldn't be happening. And is that true?
It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
I think that would be true.
I
Yes.
think that would be true.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you the second question. Can you know with 100% certainty that this shouldn't be happening? Can you absolutely know that it's true, that this shouldn't be happening?
This shouldn't be happening.
This
This
shouldn't
shouldn't
be
be
happening.
happening.
I so hear that. I so hear that and so get that. And how do you react when you believe the thought that this shouldn't be happening and it is happening?
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. How does your body feel when you believe the thought this shouldn't be happening?
Sadness. Like,
It's sadness, right?
very heavy, very hurtful.
Right. How do you see the world when you believe the thought this shouldn't be happening and it is happening?
That there's unkindness and evil in the world. I think that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. How do you see yourself when you believe the thought that this shouldn't be happening and it is happening?
That I'm part of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And just for a moment, who would you be without believing the thought this shouldn't be happening? This is a particularly, we can say, advanced questioning, you know. But for a moment, who would you be without being in without being in an argument with reality? So, for example, this shouldn't be happening. You know how I know that this should be happening? Because it is happening. When I'm in a space of this shouldn't be happening, when that's my mantra, I notice in my experience, I'm zapped of energy. I am defeated. I am, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. And we could have a moment of that, give ourselves permission to be completely shattered and broken and cry for days at at the horrors of children being taken out of schools, being taken, I mean, and and then in the option of this should be happening because it is, maybe there's a more vitality available. Maybe there's a presence of clarity. Maybe there's uh, energy and willingness to be available as part of the solution in a more effective way. This is about not arguing with reality. It doesn't mean that we make it right and that we condone it and that we It just means that we come back in alignment with for some beloveds, this shouldn't be happening. And I'm not saying this is for you, but for some of us, paralyzing, not knowing what to do, and hysterical, and afraid. In other words, not available for what's possible in the fire of our lives, the sacredness, the wild, untamed. We're here. We chose this. This is we're here to meet this. So this is one of the ways that, you know, um,
So when you talk about the allowing and you're
mhm,
allowing yourself to be,
right.
it doesn't mean that I have to stand by and watch this happen.
Absolutely not. Right.
Okay.
It's you are a electric wire cut loose. And the allowing is getting familiar with your true nature. And who you are is unstoppable as consciousness itself, as love itself, as kindness itself. Who you are is the one that stands in front of the armored truck. Who you are is one that stands up while everyone else is saying, yay, yay, yay. No, bitch. I don't think so. No, ma'am. I recognize that you're not acknowledging the absolute preciousness of this child and the absolute preciousness of not being ones contributing to their trauma. But in this moment, I recognize the absolute preciousness and I say, no, there are other ways. There are other ways. Mm-hmm.
That's almost a third step. Like the first one, I was so with you.
Can you?
You know, like, of course, I could totally identify with your quest. You know, it's probably on all our hearts. And when you first said no, you know, should that be happening? I was still there. No, that shouldn't be
Right.
happening. No, no.
Right.
Can't we be a little bit better as a mankind, that we get a better
Right.
report card than that, you know, all
Right.
that. And I never had that. You do that for the last 15 years or so with the 4 questions. I never had it so strongly between the first time when he asked you or me to, should that be happening? And I know. And then the second time, something totally happened. And I always thought, that's stupid, 2 questions the same.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was a little judgmental about you're such a fan of hers, and I thought it's a little bit naive in a way. I found the 4 questions relatively naive. Should that be happening? Should it really be happening? By then, you know, you should say no, you know. But this time, I just slipped into it, and suddenly I was not on that plane where still I would say no. And I always will say no on that plane. But I was on a different plane.
Yes.
Zook, and there, all that is not totally happening. It is and it isn't. So it was very refreshing to go on that. Then what you
Yeah.
said at the end was almost coming back to that from the refreshed place.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, right. It's like we get a second chance with the second question. Yeah.
It can transport you, like with the elevator, it can
Mm-hmm.
deeper down into it.
Right.
Like, you know what they do in hypnotherapy, go downstairs.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Really like that.
Yeah, can you absolutely know that it's true?
Is that really like that?
Right.
And suddenly it was much wider,
Yes.
wider space. It was
Yeah.
negotiable if it, you know,
Right.
or I didn't have an opinion anymore in that expanded space.
Right. Right. It's interesting. It's like we get familiar. It allows us to not just meet a situation as an ego, but to also meet it as unbounded stability and consciousness. Not meet it as limitation, but meet it as, you know, and we have that option with every aspect of our lives. Okay, I'm very familiar with how the ego reacts in this situation. And what about who I really am, what's really here. Um, it's so profound.
So still with that, because that is a reality for me too, and will remain. Now going back to that, where sadness is about the state of
Yeah.
affairs, the state of, where I do believe it's almost like a report card of mankind, what's
Right.
happening. How not to be a little bit sad or disappointed or disillusioned or all those words. I'm not mad. I'm totally not politically oriented.
Yeah.
But there's a little sadness gently.
Yes.
I mean,
And that's a divine sadness. You never have to get rid of that sadness. Empathy, compassion. It's so important as human beings. The beloveds that are doing this don't feel that sadness. They have cut themselves off of their own sadness. They have cut themselves off of their own humanity, that they live in a video game where they don't see child, mother, aunt, grandmother, human, breath, aliveness, gift, contribution to the whole. Every part containing the every part containing the whole. Everyone having a piece of this puzzle of divinity, of possibility. They don't see. They're living in their own matrix, full on video game. Ideas using words like subhuman, vermin. That is all the ego, full on, full on. And and in that space of not knowing how to question their thought, they're completely coked up on their biochemistry of this illusion of power and this illusion of better than, this illusion of superiority, which only says, oh my God, I'm terrified that I'm the bottom of the hole. Oh my God, I'm terrified that I'm absolute shit. It's absolute fear. This, it's two sides of the same coin. This fear of being completely inferior, and then this desire to be completely superior. It's what the ego does. And what I love about this space of recognizing the reality of, no, this should be happening because this is happening. It allows us to awaken. And one of my favorite spiritual words is vigilance. Vigilance till the last breath. We can innocently lull ourselves into a space of complacency and lower ourselves in a space of, oh, we've reached a great spot. We're never going to do that shit again. The Nazis are so long ago. This is so, we're so good. Look at us. We have baby wipes and and Lunchables, and gosh, we've reached a but when we're willing to tell the truth, no, it's happening, it's here. It can really allow us to discover and then educate, move into the education of the nature of mind. Mind, innocently, it's kind of like when we're at war with these things, meeting it from our ego with all of our great intentions. It happens over and over again that we become the very thing that we're at war with. So, and then it's what Gandhi has invited us to consider with his way of phrasing, an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. We're still in the space of war again. And what are we contributing to? War. We contribute to the suffering, It's all innocent and it's all validated, especially through the thoughts we're believing. This shouldn't be happening. These people are evil. These people are wrong. These people are the devil. Or gosh, there's so many of them. Those are just very simplified versions. But then the willingness to recognize the power. Buddhists speak of the merits, immeasurable merits at one soul, one human soul, willing to wake up now. One person willing to sit under the Bodhi tree in the presence of uncountable demons and sins. That's meeting our unquestioned mind. And to be willing to be peace now, and to, I love how therapists have a saying that speaks something along the lines of discomfort gets displaced. What we are witnessing in a collective is discomfort getting displaced. When a human does not know innocently how to meet their discomfort, they exist as trauma Tourette's, spewing everywhere. Trauma, unhealed, unmet, pain, 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 through situations, through experiences, through words, through technologies of war, through that is discomfort. I mean, we don't know. Goodness gracious, I saw this TikTok that talked about if only it did speak on about men. If only men would just go to therapy. Just be willing, like all of this insanity because these motherfuckers can't go to therapy. Cause these bitches cannot go to therapy. I don't care how much money you motherfucking got. Have you been to therapy, bitch? I don't care how many cars you've invented. Has your ass been to therapy? Have you dealt with your mama problems and your daddy problems? I don't give a fuck what this and what that. Have you questioned your thoughts? Have you taken a moment to learn how to sit with your discomfort, how to sit with your shit? Don't put your shit on me. Don't put your shit on us. Let's meet that shit. Okay? Sometimes there's some beloveds you got to speak to like that in order to hear it. Hmm. Yeah.
I would like to know how you personally, how do you hold Donald Trump? Because, sometimes I just shrink him in, I always do that with men, that I shrink them in 5-year-old boys, because I'm was lifelong kindergarten, and, in Waldorf. And I loved the male little souls. So when I
Yes.
don't dislike a man, I just make him one of the so sometimes I do that. I mean, what is there anything we can do? Because to just hate him probably doesn't help.
Right. Well, I
What
mean, what is it that we're really hating? This is the thing.
what he promotes?
When we think we hate someone,
Not someone, but he does.
when we think we hate anyone, we are in a space of mind hating itself. I love how another thing that Byron Katie says that's so powerful is no two people have ever met. No two people have ever met. What it is that we meet and see is our own story. It's our own story. Let's say, because I have an education in the nature of mind, I see this Donald Trump as someone who has not recognized the innocent danger of mind. And because he has not recognized it, because he has not considered, there's this wonderful AI video of him going and doing ayahuasca. There is this whole AI that shows this man doing ayahuasca, purging, having a come to Jesus moment in the jungle, hugging the shamans, hugging the children. Oh my goodness. And then showing up as a presence of benefit on the planet, not asking one of the most beautiful sermons the collective has ever heard for forgiveness because you hurt his baby feelings. You know what I'm saying? Lord have mercy. Yeah, yeah. And so to hate anything is the mind hating itself. It has nothing to do with him. We're seeing our story of him. And in that, we are innocently contributing to the matrix of hate and war. But to be willing to recognize, oh, look at mind has a problem with itself. In this moment, I am going to vote for peace in the universal ballot box, which is right now. noticing mind and coming back. It's kind of like to the degree that we imagine ourselves to be separate is to the degree that we imagine other things to be separate. The invitation of meditation, the invitation of Rumi, Hafiz, of Lala, of all the beloveds throughout the ages, the Buddhas, the Christs, the is to recognize what's closer than mind, to recognize this all is well and all is well, and in all manner of things, all is well, to get familiar with the reality of that, regardless of circumstance, regardless of the appearance. I am not moved by appearances. Therefore, appearances move. And so to rest as peace, in this moment, I'm going to allow those thoughts to be as they are and come back to, oh my gosh, I am held so and supported in such an amazing way by this chair right now. Oh my gosh, I love that the floor is in support of this chair. Oh wow, I just took a breath and I didn't even have to think about it. The oxygen didn't even ask a question if it could enter my being. It was like, oh wow, that every star is holding this planet in its orbit. Oh wow, every atom in its place right now. I use the word innocence a lot, and sometimes people are like, how the fuck can you say that that's. But when we recognize what's real and the innocence of the unquestioned mind, it's so innocent. Tragic, boy, so many innocent, double innocent souls caught in the crossfire of the insanity of the unquestioned mind. And we show up to meet, to support in any way that we can over and over again. To be awake is not just to be free and, oh, it's all an illusion. Whatever, do whatever you want. That's a very immature, imagined version of what the awakened self is. Awakened wholeness also includes the absolute heartbreak of what I am experiencing as all, as each child, each mother, each father, each forest, each animal, each mushroom, each system, each species going extinct, each part of the ocean dying. It's like open to the raw reality of the whole. And in that, here as benefit, here as listening, here as compassion, here as speaking into the belly of the beast. I hear that, appreciate the suggestion, and there are other options. There are other options here. There is another way. You know? So, yeah, it can be very valuable to not hate in that way, to recognize mind is going to hate. Mind is definitely going to hate. That's what it does. But you, as consciousness, as presence, meet this unfolding from a whole other space. Yeah. So when I look at the Elons, and then also the beloveds, let's say we think there's two sides. There's no two sides. There's mind at war with itself, and there's some maturity. There's the willingness to meet, the willingness to listen, the willingness for conversation, the willingness to, because we can see, let's say neoliberalism easily turns into Nazi energy. Kill everyone that's against trans rights. Send everyone to the concentration camps. It can go to those extremes because that's what mind does. We don't know that mind's tendency is to be at war. It's to be at war. But as we get familiar with who we are, it's a whole other energy when we can meet someone and just hold them in total compassion and recognize, oh, well, there's some thoughts there that they really believe in. If you're willing to, it must really hurt to hate someone so much. It must really hurt inside to be so afraid of someone. It must really hurt to think that this person's going to steal your job. It must really hurt to think that this person, uh, and would you like to question that? Would you like to explore that? Are you willing to consider that maybe it's not true? You know, it's fascinating. It's so fascinating. And it's such an honor to sit here with you, as consciousness and to sit here as these human soft bodied animals that are looking around saying, what in the world? What the hell? What? What? Yeah. And then also what a case study. So many beloveds in let's say circles of open-mindedness, all of a sudden are totally backing up. Um, you have phenomena like QAnon, for example, where something that seemed to be outside of religion all of a sudden is just as dogmatic as any of the other religions. A full on religion. You and your chakras, that's a full ass religion. You and your star seed, that's a full ass religion. You went and this vibration, this is high vibe and that's low vibe. Same old, same old. The innocence of not noticing what mind does. The devil and low vibe, no difference. High vibe, it's like we don't notice that we fall into those. So this is where vigilance and a curiosity and the education of how mind works is so profound. And what I love about now, it's spreading very slowly, maybe even faster. Maybe in this moment it's completely spread. I can't know that to be true. But we're discovering that suffering is optional. And we're learning how to easily map out and slow down and see, oh, yeah, when I believe this thought, I imagine this, this, and this, and this. And then that sentence turns into a word, which is the feeling. And then that word turns into an action. And then that action turns into a result. And I can quantify and notice in my own self the vigilance, the 24/7, innocent, effortless, loving. Oh, hi, mind. Wow. Oh, wow. I feel that sensation. Oh, I notice the armor forming in my throat, the armor present in my chest and my belly. Let me take responsibility for this. Oh, there's discomfort here. Let me stop and know the tools. How do I meet discomfort? I stop and I give space. Oh, high sensation of brick in my chest. You are fully welcome here. Even if there's seems to be parts that say, no, go away, you're uncomfortable, you're bad, you were put here by your grandma, you were put here by your past life. You're in this moment, you are welcome. That's how we meet discomfort, is by allowing it. That's how we learn how to feel our feelings. Isn't it amazing as human beings we haven't learned how to feel our feelings? We think feeling our feelings is beating a pillow with a bat, which that totally has its place. But to fully allow, there's dancing around the fire, which is the indulging in the feelings, and there's standing in the center of the flame, which is to, even if it burns, completely allow that feeling to flourish. Yeah. Anyone else want to share something? I have a couple minutes left. Anybody else want to share something or explore something? Yes. That's the mic.
Oh, that's all I got. It should be longer.
There you go.
Um, the turnaround. How am I like Trump?
Yeah, the turnaround.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because after the election it felt worse than 9/11 for me.
I
I'm
hear
like,
that.
okay.
I hear that.
It's like,
Mhm.
okay. All right, so put it aside. Doesn't have to
Right.
go away. I can put it aside.
Right.
What did he do? What can I learn from what he did?
Right.
And my personal observation, just from somebody who's not terribly political,
Mm-hmm.
is like all elected officials up until then, or politicians, typically follow the law and decorum so the
Mm-hmm.
public can
Mm-hmm.
arrive at a choice. He did not do that. He leveraged the law, looked for the spaces, went between them, and ignored decorum.
Mm.
I was like, oh, that's an interesting lesson. Where can I do that? So I started writing down all my thoughts
Yeah.
that just, those ones that just race in and get triggered.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, this. And throughout for a couple weeks, I just put that little thought on a Post-it note. Boop, threw it on my wall. Got about 300 of them. Until I started to notice, like, okay, that's certainly enough. And then over
Yeah.
Thanksgiving break, I started to group them together. I'm a user experience designer, so this is called mind mapping. So I'm like, okay,
I love
well,
it,
let me
yeah.
deploy the Trump, what I see him doing.
Yeah.
And this is harmless. It's my thoughts, right?
Right.
Some can't break. They're not there. They don't break, And I noticed about 6 or 7 different categories that my mind was focusing on. And I started to notice something. I was like, this all sounds really familiar. It's like, what is, I've seen this before. And it took about a week later, I was like, oh. I started to think about, well, there's got to be like a source for this suffering or for these things. Some of it was like informed joy and resources and stability and distractions. And like they were about, philosophy, things that I write,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, explorations.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is all like adding up to something. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of Buddhist. Like the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and whatever. It wasn't directly
Right.
that, but I was like, it had this flavor, and I'd never really studied Buddhism, so I started
Right.
looking
The
up
5
Buddhism.
passions. Yeah.
Yeah. And I found that the Dharma Chan Zen monastery in Boulder, and I started going, and I was like,
Oh, I love that.
oh, got it. So it really worked to just be Trump with my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it opened up. I'm a non-theistic Zen Buddhist to the bone.
A word.
Yeah, like just, and as we've discussed before, everything's necessary until it's not. So,
Right.
but it is. And then when I started getting that teaching, which is free, by the way, a 4-year curriculum in Buddhism is free.
How beautiful.
It lined up with what I had put on the wall. So like Buddhism started, like those basics of Buddhism started just coming out onto the wall.
Right.
And those Post-it notes and stuff.
Right.
And man, you want to know something about the mind, you talk to a Zen monk, at least for me, anyways.
Oh, I'm glad.
And yeah, so, but the when I turn it, the turnaround hurts, and is
Right.
it's like the short circuit
Right.
too.
Right. Well, that's where we really get to stop putting all of our unquestioned stuff on someone else and take responsibility for our energy here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What an orchestration. Everything serves.
Mm.
And
And that's a dance too.
absolutely.
My mind kind of likes to do that.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, I could also recognize having been here enough and whatever. Oh, mind is doing this sort of dance thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's totally harmless to follow. Where it's going, it's been really fruitful.
Right.
Like a lot of validation, a lot of coming down off of a lot of ledges, mental
Yeah.
ledges,
Yeah.
because I don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
There's the curriculum. I sit down, I meditate. I've been doing that for 10 years. Like this is, it was like, I found the right size shoe.
I so love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so profound. Thank you for sharing that.
Cool.
And I thank you for meeting the situation with an open mind. I mean, that's what when the mind is a little open, when the mind's open, it doesn't matter what the appearance is. There's a willingness to meet it from all these very interesting points of view
Yeah,
that can have benefit, that can serve.
the election happened. My 21-year-old cat passed away in my arms.
Oh,
And
what
then
was your cat's
a
name?
friend, it was Amber.
Hi, Amber.
You've seen
That's
pictures
an
of Amber.
Amber.
And a coworker unexpectedly died during surgery.
What was their name?
Silmi.
Selmy. Hi, beloved Selmy.
And it was just like, you know what? I'm not interested in the hate. Like there's some energy coming through, but I can't. That's not going to work.
Right.
It's never worked.
Right. Right.
Ever.
Right.
Action and resistance has worked in whatever way that has
Right.
been appropriate.
Yeah. And then it's really cool, this whole thing with Buddhism that is, really speaks to what are we informed by?
Yes.
Are we informed by the closed mind, the mind of revenge, the mind of hate, the mind of anger, the mind of separation, innocent, and the option to be informed by this bottomless reservoir? Yeah. By this life force energy.
Yeah. And
Embodied.
yeah, the other thing about those Post-it notes and stuff is that was an enormous amount of work.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's just like somebody has to have already done this. I cannot be the first human who has, I can't be. Can't
And you
be.
probably were.
And I probably, in this mind I was.
So good. Thank you so much, Patrick. Anyone else want to share?
You just helped me with that. A little confusion developed,
Yeah.
between when you did the picture of the child, and you go in front, and because there's potential which cannot live itself, or whatever we want to frame it,
Yeah.
all these or shortcuts, destinies, or whatever.
Right.
I mean, that on one level is real, and then all the world leaders who do contribute that can happen is real too. That's where I'm a little confused by not. I mean, it is happening. It's
I'm
not
a little
happening.
confused about
And
what you're
so,
asking.
Because when I feel the pain in a way, like in the function of being a mother of the world, so to speak,
Yeah.
that hurts. All the
Yes.
shit which happens and the harm, and
Okay.
maybe here people who get deported and family separate. I mean, that's all
Right.
pretty horrible. So how is there a mechanics? Do you feel it's in any way effective to wish those politicians? Trump is not alone, but there are a few over the world with this what you call innocence, ignorance, or whatever mind.
Right.
Is there any value or any? Do you see any reality in like wishing them more consciousness or their trip towards enlightenment or so? Do we have any influence?
What I love about this question is that that's exactly what happens when we come back home to ourselves. When we meet our juicy center, that juicy center is not limited to a skin line. We meet the juicy center of all beings. And that is a giant blessing for everyone. It's however small, however infinite. It's beyond big and small. When we're home to ourselves, We exist in the heart of everyone. I know that consciousness is the only thing that's real and the only thing that's solid. People have their belief systems, they have their traumas. All of those are not consistent. They appear to be consistent, and the only evidence they have to consistency is another thought. And that's thought showing up for thought. Thoughts like, hey, bitch, I got your back. Thoughts showing up for thoughts. Mind self releases. How many times have we blinked? Notice you scratch. Notice where your hands are. Who put your hands there? How many emotions has one had? How many beliefs? How many? It's like the truth of everyone is the solidity of love, consciousness, beingness. And of course, these are words, and language is very limiting, but even closer than those words. So, I mean, what a gift. So, when I see an appearance of Trump, I'm not looking at I'm not seeing him from mind to mind at war with mind. So, you exist as a presence of blessing. I notice there's spaciousness there. There's spaciousness within every cell. There's a golden, loving presence there. Regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the appearance, it's like, I'm not fooled. You're doing such a good job at pretending. But I see you, bitch. I see who you are. What an amazing pretender you are. But I see you. This is the self meeting the self, seeing the self. Yeah. And what a blessing. And to do a blessing from a space of just, in this moment, we can bless. Notice that as a presence of life, that's sacred. And you can bless with your presence. I bless his hands. I bless his feet. I bless his mind. I bless his thoughts. I bless the people that are around him. And I bless everyone that's in that administration. I bless that they get bamboozled, that they recognize something deeper than the fear that's driving them. They recognize something deeper than the stories they're telling themselves. And who knows if that's not the case right now. So, for example, when we're not in the boxes of our story, this moment is absolutely fresh. It has nothing to do with any kind of linear time or past. This moment is brand new. And when the mind is open, the moment's open, life is open. So, for example, if I believe the thought that the world is unconscious, is that true? And questioning the thought is always about this moment. So the world is unconscious and needs to wake up. Is that true? Oh, yes, because of this evidence, mind giving evidence, images giving evidence. Evidence. So we notice where we go to the evidence. Again, that's mind showing up for mind. Can I absolutely know that it's true? That the world, in this moment, I can't absolutely know. Who knows if there's, like, maybe for fun, 100 giant benevolent motherships in every major city right now. With a frequency that has everybody totally, oh man, seeing everyone as themselves and falling into each other's arms. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't see you were precious and sacred. I forgot to. Okay, okay, right. Right, right. Totally, totally, totally. I know and then how do I react when I believe the thought the world needs to wake up? Oh my God. I'm like, so, I'm not empowered. Where does my peace lie? On this world, finally getting to, come on, bitches, like, hurry up. Come on, it's time. That's, you know, and I'm still caught up in delusion. I'm still experiencing world through mind. Innocent. Again, nothing wrong with that, but there's other options here. Who would I be without the thought? Oh, wow, in this moment, I give peace a chance. I give reality a chance. I give awakening a chance. I'm not putting humanity in a box as beings that are unconscious. I am recognizing the truth of this moment is pure, awakened, vivid, vibrant spirit. The truth of this moment is the roar of the divine, is the roar of consciousness. And regardless of appearance, that's what I know as my truth. I'm not moved by appearances, therefore they move. And then you exist in a world that is awake and that is free. And when you walk into the grocery stores, you're not looking at them, oh my God, what are their traumas? What are they thinking? Who do they vote for? You're like, you don't say this out loud. Hello, beloved, precious self. Maybe you could. But all of that is in, hi, how you doing? It's, I know who you are. Most precious, most adored, most beloved. Your flavor of soul print has never existed. Immeasurably valuable, immeasurably wondrous, immeasurably amazing. And we have that option. Could you imagine if everyone on the planet in this moment relaxed their so confident assessments of things, which is okay. But imagine if we like, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I can't know exactly what's best. Maybe I don't have the fuller, bigger picture. You know, this shouldn't be happening. Maybe it should be happening. And I'm here as a presence of, let's explore a new way. Let's do poetry. Let's do art. Let's get in community. Let's cry together. However it shows up, infinite gifts and talents present. Who knows how this life force is going to show up in your life as your hands, as your unique perspective, as your unique sacred geometry, as your unique astrology, as your unique human design, as your unique, what's the other new one? That giant ass book. I can't remember. Gene keys. Your unique gene keys. Your unique. It's oh, the Baha'i. Yes, Baha'i. What's Bahai's name? The prophet. I can't remember his name. One time I wrote a song many years ago that's called Holy, that says, Jesus, Buddha, Kali, Krishna, Isis, Mandela, Sophia, Mohammed, Yahweh, Sai Baba, La Virgen Maria, Wakantanka Ramana. Silence, freedom, detachment, devotion, wisdom, surrender, salvation, compassion, sacred oneness, abundance, the truth remains, all is love. And we would perform all over the world and all kinds of different centers. And when we would go to the Baha'i, they were like, can you please put his name in that? Please. And we were like, oh, okay, we will. Okay. When we would go and perform that song at like a Baptist church, they would come out and say, could you please just say Jesus, 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 Jesus? Or after we'd performed that song with Jesus, Buddha, Kali, and these sweet little Christian old ladies would walk up and be like, now, that song, when you say Jesus, Buddha, you put Jesus first because Jesus is the king. Yes, beloved. Yes, that's absolutely right. Yes. And at the end of the song, when you say, I am holy, are you speaking as if it's God saying that they're holy? Yes, beloved. Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So precious, all of us. So, so precious. Thank you all so much for this time together, for this satsang. Really appreciate you. Am I going to be here next week? I'm not. I'm going to be in Peru next week. Oh, no. I am going to be here next week. Because I'm going to do it on Monday. I usually do this on Mondays. What day is Monday? Tuesday? Third. That's when you fly. Cool. So Monday the 3rd, I'll be here, and then I won't be back till the 24th after the 3rd. So I'm gonna go to Peru. I have a Menudo reunion concert, which is gonna be so hilarious. When I was a teenager, I was a part of a boy band called Menudo, and we're doing this reunion concert. And my nephew, who's 20 years old, is gonna come with me, so he's gonna experience that hilarity, that amazing. I mean, we have the most loyal fans, the sweetest beloveds that still show up and still do the screaming and still, I mean, it is the sweetest thing. So we're doing a fan party, doing the concert. Then after the concert, me and my nephew are gonna go to Machu Picchu. It'll be his first time there. And it's gonna be really, really sweet. Yeah, I'm excited.
Is there a current group that's going to be there to also?
Well, I mean, it's a reunion concert, so all the guys that I was in the band with
Right.
are coming to do this concert.
There's a current Menudo group.
The current Menudo group, so our old manager sold the name, and MTV bought the name, or Viacom, and then Mario Lopez bought it, and now there's a new Menudo that they put together, and that has nothing to do. No. That new Menudo,
I think they're the current part of it is all.
right? They're blessedly doing their own thing. So we're coming together from over 30 something years ago. Well,
Some.
most of us are still alive. Last year, one of the Deer brothers, who was a part of my generation of Menudo, passed away to Crohn's disease. Adrian, I love you, Adrian. I know you're going to be there with us, and I have the honor of singing one of his songs for this concert. So, yay! I'm willing, and look, if tears might happen, I'm so willing for that. Yeah, so it'll be really sweet, really, really sweet. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. I have space if anybody wants a more personal education in this mind stuff and like some sessions. I have packages. I have room for about 2 or 3 other people. If that's something that interests you, another thing that could be interesting, ayahuasca non-duality retreat in the Big Island of Hawaii on April 30th to May 5th is that retreat. In Kauai, I'm doing a retreat with Deborah Silverman on the 4 elements. And that is March 22nd to March 24th, and then March 26th to March 28th. And that's Kauai, yeah.
You're going to be in Hawaii that
No, I come back.
the month.
Yeah, because April, and then I'll announce it here the first time as an option. Um, Ayahuasca retreat called Remembering Wholeness in Costa Rica, at this beautiful space just south of San Jose. No, what's the name of the city? It's not coming to me. It's San Jose. Okay, it is San Jose. Just south of that, on the water. Is another. Yay, options. That is. Hi, mind. That is July 6th through July 11th. July 6th to July 11th. Yeah. Here, satsangs, and yes, intimate Aya non-dual ceremonies. There's one happening the end of February, and there's one happening the end of no, it'll be mid-April, middle of April sometime. I remember those dates. Yeah, and that's just very intimate, just 6 people, and we do them here in this space, and you stay here the whole weekend. So you come in Friday and leave on Sunday at noon. Friday at 4 o'clock. April? Oh, fun. The Leave in Divine end of the month? Oh, very cool. Yay. That's awesome.
Is there a website or something where you have all these dates?
Um, Yes, there's leavingdivine.org for a lot of the retreats. There's also Asheville, April 2nd through the 4th. Yay, dates. Myself and Gervais.
Oh, there you do still something together.
Yeah, Aloha Huasca's also with Gervais. Yeah.
So you do still stuff.
Costa Rica's not with Gervais. And the ones, the more intimate, non-dual, contemplative Aya ceremonies that happen here, also not with Gervais. Yeah.
Do that solo.
Yes, those are solo. Yeah, with Bodhi. I do those with Bodhi. Yeah, which is great. Okay, and if you'd like to leave a donation, you can leave some in that little blue thing over there, or you can leave some online, Venmo and all those other things. Thank you, loves.